Okay, lovelies. Right, let's have a look at the magazine, shall we? So, on the front we have a twin tub, 148 Supermarine Spitfire TR9, so trainer. We also have this M29 Weasel and a Flying Fortress here in 148 scale from Edward. Okay, so introduction, contents. What have we got? So 16 is a Celestial Starfighter, Kinetics 148 scale, F104G, 74 big scale Puma, 1/16 scale, and that is from Das Werks. We have the B17 here. We also have a Azure From has released the first new tool of 172 scale Fairey Battle Mark 1. And then we have a, what's this one, 30? Desert Wind 2, Massimo Santarosa gets to grips with Italy's 172 AMX-T, providing plenty of tips on how to build. Right, Great Wall hogs the limelight with new tool, 172 scale A10C. And this is from GWH is the manufacturer. I'm not seeing much else. Great Wall Hobbies 172 A10C is easily the best kit of the type available. In 172 scale and expected to retail at £36.99. Distributed via Tiger Hobbies at tigerhobbies.co.uk. So that looks good. We then have Horizon Models Business for Sale. In a blow to fans of real space subjects, Australia's Horizon Models is to cease trading and the business is now for sale. Proprietor Tony Radosevic first started the company in 2015, debuting with the 172 scale Mercury spacecraft twin pack, and after that releasing splendid rocket kits such as the Mercury Redstone, Convair Atlas and Atlas Agena. Now the business is up for sale and the deal includes the tooling, research materials, drawings and digital assets, including the box top artwork, instructions and decals, plus research and development material. Any potential buyer will have great products on their hands as the detail on all of Tony's kits has been impressive. There you go. Rush Model Kits 148 scale Ukrainian Sea King decals. We have Peaks Model 172 scale 3D printed British World War I armoured cars, and these look really good actually. I'm just looking at the way that they package their kits as well in these foam trays here. Really nice to see. The classic boxings are €50 while the premium editions cost €65. Both are available direct from Peaks Model, peaksmodel.com. The Dorset Printman's 172 Belvedere HC1 conversion. So if you've bought Airfix's recently reissued vintage classic Bristol 192 Belvedere, but want to build an in-service RAF HC1 airframe, then the Dorset Printman's recent 3D printed resin conversion set is well worth considering. There are 16 components in total comprising new undercarriage and fairings, plus wheels replacement, upper rotor housing, air intakes and the type's distinctive rear wing. £25 from the dorsetprintman.com. Republic P47 reference books and a Lysander reference book as well. We have a 148 scale M5A1 Stuart from Tamiya. X Scales new 144 scale Lockheed P3C Orion. So anti-submarine and maritime surveillance aircraft. Tamiya's 124 scale new tool Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992. All new high grade Gundam GQ-UX from Bandai. Display case, what have we got? We got an SRN-1 hovercraft. We have a 1/350 scale USS Ingersoll guided missile destroyer from Mini Hobby. There. An M55-1 Sheridan. Tamiya's 135 scale kit, and then we have a 148 scale Spitfire Mark 5B. And we're into the first article. So this is an advanced build for Kinetics 148 scale F104G in a rocket-powered and F104A aerospace trainer with hypersonic models conversion set. Right. So the conversion set from Hypersonic Models costs £48.97 from hypersonicmodels.com, and then the F104G from Kinetic Models is £32.16, and you can get that from luckymodels.com. That, I mean, the F104 always fascinated me because it was such a dangerous airframe. I believe that there was, I can't remember the year, but it was obviously whilst these aircraft were still in use, that there was I think it was the Luftwaffe, a significant crash involving a pair of these on takeoff, if I remember rightly. They weren't that stable, to be quite honest. But this article is detailing the conversion and everything that was done. And then moving on to the paint process. The silver airframe for the F104 was quite a classic look for them. Then we have Astro Schoolhouse in focus. So looking at F104A Starfighters, we got the pictures of parts that were used in the conversion here in real life. So we got the extra rocket nozzle here above the afterburner exhaust, the engine exhaust. And a great picture here showing a 104 gaining altitude with the rocket motor burning. So yeah. Desert Wind 2.0. So this is AMX. That's a AMX International. Is that SAS? It says here it was a derived from the Arabic for south wind. Ghibli was a joint venture between Italy and Brazil in the 1980s. Italy needed a replacement for the Fiat GR91 and Brazil for the Macchi Embraer MB326. I was going to say AMX was a French thing. Am I thinking of the tank though? I'm sure there's an AMX tank. Somebody let me know in the comments. I'm sure there was an AMX tank. That's probably why I'm thinking French. But this is a 172 kit from Italeri, which you can get from hobbyco.net for £29.99. Front and rear cockpit tubs look really nice. As offered in the box, they look fairly good, but hopefully aftermarket embellishments will appear. They do actually look really nice, painted up and finished, as well as the wheelbase for the main undercarriage. And And again, I know I keep saying it, but I do like this low visibility grey colour scheme on aircraft. I do. I've got a bit of a thing for it, I have to say. So this, I mean, the shape of it kind of reminds me of the Nat aircraft that the British had for a spell. Looks good though, I like it. Nice aircraft. That was an intermediate build article. Then we're out and about. This is Peterborough Scale Model Club show. Welland Wonders. We have a 120 scale Eagle Westlake T1G, built by Scale Racing Lines Alex Payne. That looks like a T. Yeah, Airfix's TSR2 arguably sparked one of the biggest what-if considerations given the type's brief existence, with IPMS Lincoln's Paul Carter completing this 148 kit. Why am I saying skit? Kit as a Blue Water tactical nuke-equipped 9B squadron airframe. We then have the What If SIG can always be relied on to produce some unusual and this amusing hobby 148 scale Focke-Wulf FW100 Schnellbomber by Richard Brooker drew plenty of attention in part due to its striking camouflage, and that is a really good colourful scheme there. Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit, and then we have a 135 scale Humber Mark 1 here in 130 from Bronco, and this really nice 3D printed 110 scale Roman Centurion. Right, fresh off the boat. Myriad tiny parts from Tacom were assembled by Johan Augustsson to build a 135 scale M29 Weasel as served in Normandy in July 1944. Do you know what? Looking at that, that looks like something I would expect to have seen in the Vietnam War as well. So yeah, M29 Weasel by Tacom, 135 scale, £33.99. You can get it from backman.co.uk. Looks like we got the usual lower hull tub, which you assemble your road wheels to. Then we have a load carrying bed with the engine compartment, and the driver sits off to the side. And then you build up the sides of the upper hull. That's a really unusual thing. I've not really seen one of these before. But it looks really good. So slight conversion here. Apparently there was a control lever in his right hand and they just repositioned the arm slightly to make it look more relaxed. Nice. And then we have the Fairey Battle. This is from Azure. It's from Azure from, so that's FRROM. It is £24.99, 172 scale, and you can get it from.com. So FRROM.com. I'm sure they must have done that deliberately. So what was the Fairey Battle? RAF received its first Fairey Battle in 1937 with more than 40 squadrons eventually flying the type. On May 10, 1940, the first bombing raids revealed the type's vulnerability when 13 out of 23 aircraft were lost. Despite this, during the Phoney War, the type achieved the distinction of scoring the RAF's first aerial victory in the conflict. That month, though, the battles of the Advanced Air Striking Force suffered heavy losses, frequently exceeding 50% per sortie, generally regarded as a failure in its primary role as a light bomber. Yeah, I wanted to say dive bomber, but that wasn't right. The battle found more success as a training aircraft and target tug. Overall production of the battle during its manufacturing life, including prototypes, was 2,201 machines. Yeah, I wonder if this went on to do anything like was it the Dalton or the Bolton? No, it was the Dalton Paul Defiant, wasn't it? Or Bolton Paul Defiant, I can't remember. That didn't have much success in its original role, but went on to be a good night fighting aircraft, as I understand. So intermediate build, it looks like a nice kit. Coming in with the fairly traditional dark earth and dark green colour scheme on the top side of the aircraft, which was pretty synonymous with the start of World War II, aircraft of World War II. Three marking schemes for Polish Squadron, RAF, August 1940, 52 Squadron RAF, UK, late 1937, and Royal Canadian Air Force are the three liveries that you can use. Oh, and here we go. Here's our trainer. So Supermarine Spitfire TR9 by Airfix. So this has been finished in a really unusual colour scheme as a Republic of Ireland, I think it is. For all the multitude of Supermarine Spitfire kits, regardless of scale, until recently there were just 3 that depicted the 2-seat TR9 trainer. None of these were in 148, so Airfix's announcement of a new tool version in January caused quite a stir in the modelling community. So this is from Airfix. It's 148 scale for a Supermarine Spitfire TR9, and it's £29.99 from airfix.com. That's actually quite a reasonable price for a new tooling. The aircraft supplies 2 crew figures. The initial plan was to include these in the build, but unfortunately there wasn't enough time. Yeah, here we go. So, 161 B-Flight Irish Air Corps, Baldonnel Aerodrome, Dublin, Republic of Ireland, 1951? Wow. And then the other kit is CDK Ivor, Buckinghamshire, England, 1969. You really can't get away from that elliptical wing look for the aircraft, the Spitfire. And it's a nice aircraft as well, actually. I do like this colour scheme. Right, Bodacious Batomorph. Confronted with friendly challenge, Kev Baxter fired up the oven to gas Mark IV and set to making the excellent shake and bake Tamiya 172 scale Douglas F4D1 Skyray in a fortnight. It's an ugly looking aircraft. Hope people don't mind me saying that, but it is an ugly looking aircraft. So Douglas F4D1 Skyray from Tamiya, it's 172 scale, it's £14.95. Again, that's not a bad price actually. So intermediate build, looks like they've done, because they wanted it in a landing configuration, they've cut some of the slats to show that. The cockpit tub and nose cone appears to be one assembly, which is then joined to the rear fuselage or the rest of the plane. Yeah, that's an interesting kit. It's not something I see often, to be quite honest. I've never seen, to be honest, I mean, I've probably read about it, but Skyray. But to be honest, it's not an aircraft that I see much of. Large scale Puma, so another 1/16 scale kit. 1/16 scale seems to have really picked up over the last few years. There's lots of kits I'm seeing in this new scale. Well, I won't say it's a new scale, but for armour, I think it's fairly recent. I think it's safe to say that it's fairly recent addition. But yeah, this is going to be an impressive and imposing kit. It says here, it's strange how some subjects capture your imagination. I remember as a child seeing the Matchbox 176 Puma with its cool street diorama and thinking that'd be a great vehicle. Fast forward many years to Scale Model World Telfer 2023, where Albion Hobbies had a prototype of the Das Werk 1/16 kit, which looked superb. Plenty of interior detail going in with the instrument panel for the driver's position. Plenty of Pioneer tools and engineering tools for maintenance. And then jerry cans had some PE additions for them. And the figure looks really nice as well. Hell's Angel. Now this being a B17 in 1/48 scale is going to be an impressive size. It's the Bloody Hundreds 1943 it says. From Edward, it's 1/48 scale. It's £159.99 from Edward stockists. Closer look at the contents revealed the comprehensive painted photo etch frets for the wooden floor sections and ammunition boxes. The latter required considerable bending, but did look the part when finished. Ammunition belts weren't convincing though, being difficult to shape, so they weren't used. Other goodies included a radio detail, tabletop and legs, and optional navigation and plotting instruments. So, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photo etched frets there. The wheels are weighted, which is nice to see. Says here, Edward's bronze landing gear is a direct replacement for the styrene parts and needs no modification to fit, although the resin actuators were somewhat fiddly and it proved challenging. So Edward additional metal parts being used here to essentially support such a large aircraft when it's sat on display. And pictures here showing the photo etch parts, the pre-painted photo etch parts for the floor go in place, looking good. Plenty of detail for the cockpit. And that is going to be an impressive kit once it's done. Who makes those big, I'm sure somebody's done a 132 scale Lancaster. I forget the name of the company though, off the top of my head. So we are on to On the Shelf. Books, we have The Fighting Colours of Richard Day, Karuna 50th Anniversary Collection, Hawker Hunter in British Service, which is this one. F4 Phantom 2 McDonnell Douglas MiG Hunter is this one. A B-29 B-50 Super Fortress, this one. Panzer Camouflage, Panzer Camouflage Volume 1, Wehrmacht Division's Camouflage Patterns in World War II. Defending Normandy, Volume 1A, German Chain of Command. I can't remember what that is. So is that 86th AK and Infantry Divisions? I think maybe that's supposed to be. I'm sure L's 50, isn't it? Or is it? Or 84th, I should say, AK and Infantry Divisions on the contenting. Ripped Apart, Volume 1, The Cyprus Crisis, 1963 and 64. Red Star versus Rising Sun, so this will be the Sino-Japanese War. Rising Sun Volume 2. There are many forgotten battles associated with World War II, yet several had a huge impact on how events would proceed in Western Europe. Events in Manchuria during 1939 with the Japanese incursion resulted in a major Soviet counteroffensive that would enable the latter to secure its eastern provinces against subsequent Japanese attack. We have Panzer III, Tankcraft 40, Panzer III, USS Intrepid, CV 11, CVA 11, CVS 11. Look there. Right, onto kits. We have a Bell AH-1S Cobra Chopper. JGF, that's Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force. It's from Hasegawa, it's 172 scale, it's £19.99 from angring.co.uk. An Albatross D3 Edward 148 scale, £13.45 from edward.com. Reggiane RE 2002 Ariete, Italy, 172 scale. I think that was supposed to be by, I think that was supposed to say Italeri, 172 scale. It's £19.99 from hobbyco.uk. You have Tornado IDS Maiden Flight 50th Anniversary from Hasegawa. 172 scale, £49.99 from amarang.co.uk. A Macchi C205 Veltro, Italeri, 132 scale, it's £109.99 from hobbyco.net. And then you have the BAE 146-200 Air UK by Revell. It's in 144 scale, it's £22.99 from Revell Stockists. Curtis H75 Mohawk for Allied pilots by Mark 1 models, and it's 1/144 scale. And that's from eShopMiniWing.cz. The PZL P11C Polish Fighter Rare Birds IBG models, 172 scale, €13 from ibg.com.pl. And then Spitfire Mark 9E from Edward, 148 scale, £22.70 from edward.com. We have a new tool for HMS Coventry by 4Art. 1/350th scale, £37.99, 4Art stockists. Until recently, modelers wanted to build a 1/350th Type 42 destroyer had to rely on Atlantic Models' magnificent multimedia offerings. But now there are 4Art's new tool styrene kit. Initial boxings feature Batch 1 vessels, HMS Sheffield, HMS Coventry, with differences confined to the decal sheet and a single runner. Parts are presented on 8 styrene runners plus separate upper hull, lower hull halves, deck, main superstructure, bridge housing, funnel base and display stand. Armour. We have the SDKFZ 2343 from Italeri in 1/35 scale, £34.99 from hobbyco.net. That's this one. SDKFZ 2501 NEU from Dragon, 1/35 scale, £59.99 from hobbyco.net. German 3-ton cargo truck, 3.6 35S early production PMQ type. Mini Art, 1/35 scale, £52.99 from creativemodels.co.uk. We then have an M29C Weasel amphibious version from CMK in 1/72 scale. That's nice that we have a variant vehicle in that scale. €20 from cmkkits.com. A STUH42 Alf G mid-production mini art, 1/72 scale, £21.99 from creativemodels.co.uk. Danger Mines ICM 1/35 scale, £43.80 from hanance.co.uk. Now this, I believe, is a combined kit, so you get the figures and the truck. Given ICM's propensity for combining its figure and vehicle sets, it was only a matter of time until its demining crew, to be ahead to save life, was reissued with the likes of the ZIL 131 truck. Yeah. And then civilian vehicles, we have a BMW 320 SI E90 WTCC Brands Hatch 2008 winner. That's Hobby Nunu, 1/24 scale, £54.99 from hobbyco.net. 71 Dodge Demon in 1/25 scale from MPC, £47.99 from backman.co.uk. Renault 5 Turbo Rally. Renault 5s was such a boy racer car when I was growing up. A friend of mine had one, and he basically rebuilt it. Yeah, he bought it as scrap and rebuilt it and sprayed it the hilarious orange colour you have ever seen. Tamiya, 1/24 scale, £25.99, hobbyco.net. We have a YF21 Macross Advanced Variable Fighter in 1/72 scale from Hasegawa, and that's £34.99. Space Wolf SW190 War Against Mazone, W Yuki Kai figure. Hasegawa, again, 1/72 scale from amarang.co.uk. Both those kits are Amarang. This kit is also amarang.co.uk, and it's a Hasegawa 1/35 scale PKH 103 Nutcracker. And this is the Japanese Mashien Krieger sci-fi series has produced several armoured mecha-type subjects, and Hasegawa has reissued the PKH-103 Nutcracker armoured hover tank, if you didn't know what that was. So, aftermarket decals, we have Brazil Meteor TM Mark 7 Azure from 172 scale, €6.60 from .com. RAF Typhoon Squadrons Euro decals 148 scale, £38.95 from fantasyprintshop.com. Beetle in I can't speak today. Beetle in Captivity exotic decals 172 scale, €10 from toro-model.com.pl. We have Bell UH-1B Iroquois, Royal New Zealand Air Force, is that? No, Norwegian, Royal Norwegian Air Force, not New Zealand. 172 scale Vingtor decals, £8.82 from vingtor.net. P51D5 357th Fighter Group, Edward 172 scale, £5.77 from edward.com. And then German Wimpy exotic decals 172 scale, €7 from toro-model.com.pl. Aftermarket parts, we have a selection here. So we have Zundap KS750 MG34 with gun mount and magazine carrier, Special Hobby 135 scale. I assume this could be used very much with the Zundap motorcycle and sidecar kit, was it? That Tamiya did? I know it says here Academy's recent Zundap KS750 with sidecar has attracted several upgrade sets. We also have, over here we have an F14A late exterior, 148 scale from Edward, $13.99, edward.com. Mr. Smith ME410 exhaust detail set from Ask Distribution, 172 scale, €5.90 at artscale.eu. TBM3 dinghy box. If you're looking to add something different to your 148 scale TBM Avenger build, this set is worth considering. It provides a fuselage dinghy box plus the top of the dinghy if the hatch is posed open. It's designed to fit accurate miniatures kit, plus reboxes by Academy and Italeri, and clear guidance is provided where the kit parts will need cutting to allow the new resin insert to be fitted. Mosquito FB6 Ash radar conversion, Alley-Cat models, 172 scale, £8.50 from modelsforsale.com, and this is cmkkits.com, and it's €9 for the dinghy kit. We have Dockyard Buildings and Crane from Black Cat Models. French aftermarket and kit specialist Black Cat Models is already well known for its exquisitely detailed maritime upgrade sets and ships, but has recently expanded its catalogue to include 1700 dockside buildings, cranes and barges, all suitable for World War II US Navy shipyards with a mix of types and sizes available. So there you go. We've got an A10C rotary gun flash suppressor here for 148 scale Edward, £2.13 from edward.com. Alcohol bottles with boxes, mini art, 135 scale, £19.99 from creativemodels.co.uk. And we have an FA18D basic upgrade, FA18D basic update, Buenos 163986 and up. Flying Leatherneck scale conversions, 148 scale, flyingleatherneckdecals.com. And this is for Hasegawa's FA18D kit. And then, yeah, we're into the final few bits of advertising, and then our show guide, which I will do the usual pictures for. So hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. All right, take care. Bye-bye.